News First Weekend with Sonali Wanikabathuke.
Hello there, a very good evening to you. It's nice to have you here with us here on News First. We start off tonight's news with a look at your headlines. The President says the country's unity will be made more meaningful with development. Investigations continue on Sri Lankans who have reached Canada aboard the MV Sunsea. The child hospitalized following the incident where 2 children died after being electrocuted also passes away. Expectant mothers requested to be vigilant due to the spread of dengue. And Indian cricketer Yuvraj Singh contracts dengue. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the country's unity will be made more meaningful with development. The head of state made this observation while attending the function organised to fill the Hambantota harbour with water.
The Kardiyavara Mangalaya, organised to fill the Magampura International Port with water, was held this morning under the patronage of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The festival officially commenced with the arrival of the President to the harbour premises. It was amidst the cheering of those gathered that the President came to the special podium built at the harbour premises. After religious observances, the President ceremonially released water to the 17-meter deep harbour basin amidst the chanting of Pirit by the Mahasangha. Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa expressed these views while addressing those gathered.
තමන්ගේ ජීවිත කාලය තුල වැඩක් ආරම්භ කරලා
Everyone likes to initiate projects and then to see them being completed during one's lifetime. I believe that the President must be very happy that he was able to see the completion of the first phase of the harbour even before the completion of his term as the President. Through this, we hope to earn the foreign exchange the country needs and fulfill the other needs of the country.
විදේශ විනිමය මේ තුලින් ලබාගෙන රටේ අනිකුත් අවශ්‍යතාවයන් ඉෂ්ට කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා.
Subsequently, the President addressed the gathering.
මේ රටට නිදහස ලබා දෙන වීරවරින්ට ඒ වීරත්වය
On a day like this, we are entrusted with the responsibility of obtaining economic independence to complete the heroism of those who won freedom for the country. We would like to reiterate that we have taken measures to build 5 such harbours in the island to make Sri Lanka a naval hub, which is one aspect of the 5 hubs which include an air hub, knowledge hub, economic hub and a power hub. It is not seawater that will fill this port but the future prosperity of our nation. From this port will emerge our true economic independence. The port must create tens of thousands of employment opportunities. The day that international airplanes will arrive in Mattala is not far away. We will develop the entire country in this manner. Poverty was reduced and it will further reduce in the next 5 years. This country will be made united not only geographically but also with development. We will make this united country more meaningful through development.
අපි එක හා සමාන රටක් ගොඩනගලා ඒකීය භවය තව තවත් අර්ථවත් කරනවායි කියන එක අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේ මතක් කරමු.
This event was made more colorful with many entertainment items.
Well, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, quoting officials of the Royal Canadian Police, states that the Tamil migrants who landed on the Vancouver Island on Friday appear to be in good health after several months at sea. While the number of migrants has been widely reported as 490, Rob Johnston of the Canadian Border Services Agency stated that a final number will be released once officials are confident that all people have been processed.
According to the Canadian Border Services Agency, the MV Sunsea, which was escorted into Esquimalt by Canadian Navy ships on Friday, is said to be in much better shape than expected.
The vessel was in much better shape than expected. It was relatively clean and organized. A system had been developed to dispose of waste and garbage. There were sleeping quarters on board with hammocks.
At present, border service agents have completed initial examinations of the migrants, and the Canadian Ministry of Child and Family Development has taken in some of the women and children under its care.
We're focusing on the roles that individuals played on board and may have played during the journey.
After the initial stage of processing, the migrants were sent over to a detention centre in the Vancouver area. Health-wise, none of the migrants have displayed signs of communicable disease. 27 patients have been treated so far for minor ailments and have been discharged back to federal authorities.
There were no indications of active communicable diseases amongst the crew and passengers of the ship. Their overall health appears good given the circumstances.
It is also estimated that as many as 50 of the migrants are children, a new complication for Canadian authorities, who will now determine whether some of them need to be given foster care while their adult relatives are processed. According to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, identity checks are expected to take days or even weeks, as Canadian government officials suspect that some of those on board are members of the LTTE.
Now, in a development on the migrant issue, the Canadian government is calling the MV Sunsea a test ship. The government believes that the ship is a part of a larger smuggling ring, and smugglers may be waiting to see what Canada's reaction will be to the group. Now, in an interview with CBS News, Ann Kaisenko, a former senior migration officer, expressed these views on the notion of test ships.
Kaisenko, we've heard these suggestions that this ship is almost like a test case, that other possibly smugglers are watching to see what happens to these people, and perhaps even 2 other ships are already on their way.
Right.
What do you make of those kind of suggestions?
I don't know so much that it's a test case. Smugglers, international smugglers, are professional criminals, and they've been well aware of Canada's rather liberal immigration laws for many decades. So the only thing that's sensational about this particular case is that they come by sea in a rusty old ship, and you can see them coming for months on end. But the reality is people are smuggled into this country every day by sophisticated criminal networks from around the world.
And so this one won't make any difference necessarily?
I don't think so. It might make a difference, these particular smugglers who work out of Thailand and send them on ships, and it may have, particular relevance for Tamil migrants trying to flee the country. But it's the same old game. They pay $50,000 or more dollars. They get smuggled by one means or another into Canada and other countries around the world. And some of the syndicates are very sophisticated, international mafias, and they're not amateurs. And I think Canadians are a little bit naive if they assume that this is the first or last time that people will make an attempt to come into Canada by these means.
Now, the General Secretary of the JVP, Tilvin Silva, says that the intervention to the protest held by the Democratic National Front in Galle was systematically planned. He expressed these views at a press briefing held this morning.
It is evident that they surrounded the protesters with the intention of causing harm. There was no reason to disperse the crowd. From where did they get the nerve to chase and assault them? We think this is not the problem of a few misbehaved police officers from the Galle police. Clearly, this was an order given from above. The government is now attempting to use the police to create a lawless country. They are trying to create a country ruled by area thugs that is devoid of law and justice. Meanwhile, views were expressed regarding the order made by the first court-martial on General Sarath Fonseca.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අධිකරණයක ඕනෑම නඩුවකදී විත්ති පාර්ශ්වය සහ පැමිණිලි පාර්ශ්වයේ නීතිඥයන් අතර එන එකඟතාවයක් අනුව තමයි ඊළඟ දිනේ යොදා ගන්න.
Usually, the next date in court is decided following an agreement between the prosecution and defense attorneys. That is how the date was set. Without any consideration to those dates, the court-martial convened on the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, which were incidentally court holidays. Lawyers were not given an opportunity to cross-examine or ask questions on behalf of Fonseca. Therefore, this decision is unacceptable. Hence, we have begun discussions with attorneys to challenge this in the Court of Appeal. We are ready to take the necessary legal action in this regard.
අවශ්‍ය වෙන නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමට සූදානම්.